Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, everybody. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and to another installment in the K&SV and Scenic Valley Railroad build. If you were watching last week, you will have seen me complete the track laying. This week it's time to get out the wire and the switch machines and get all the controls hooked up. This video is a little shorter than most of my update videos, but I do have a great idea for later on in the week, so be sure to stay to the end. Anyway, without further ado, let's just head out to the workshop and get to work. With most of the track now laid, I have collected up the weights. We can see that the only track still missing is about a 10-foot area, about a 10-foot stretch in this corner. I'm still waiting for the bridge track. Last time I checked the tracking system, it was basically lost. Well, they say it is arriving late en route to destination, but it's been like that for a week, so that means they've lost it. It'll show up eventually, but in the meantime I'm going to finish the wiring. There's still plenty I can get on with. There won't really be much progress to see, so I haven't even bothered to set up the time lapse today. Anyway, don't go away, I will check in with you again later. Well, so far I have finished wiring this area, getting all the feeders in top and bottom, and I've also got some isolating switches like this one to allow dead sections anywhere that one might want to park a locomotive with the sound off. That one I just showed you is for the yard lead, which is cut here. I've still got to solder that together though. Then there's the two locomotive spurs. The caboose track, I'm thinking that the locomotive for the branch line local might tie up on that track from time to time, still attached to its caboose. So I put an isolating switch in there too. And also on the short run round from here to here. That's also a spot that I think the switcher might want to lay up on from time to time. Also finished all the feeders in this area. If you recall, last time I ran out of blue and white wire. I have done the far end of the terminal yard. There were a couple dozen feeders in that corner, but the track hadn't been laid until recently. And if you look around the main line, you can see all the wires sticking up where I have inserted the wires but not installed them. I haven't soldered them top or hooked them up at the bottom yet. I will continue with that this afternoon along with the branch line. And I still haven't put the feeders to the frogs in yet. I will do that this afternoon as well. So don't go away, I will check in with you again later. Well, it has been a long afternoon. It's pretty late, but if we look around, you can see that all the feeders have been hooked up, both top and bottom, on all the track. Obviously I haven't done that 10-foot area in the corner where I'm still waiting for the bridge track. I need to go in and feed the dogs. I will check in with you again tomorrow. Don't go away. I have finished all the switch machines in this end, or that half of the junction of the branch line terminal. I've done the whole of the intermediate branch line town and this main line crossover. That's all on one board. And I have done this end of the main yard, starting with the two crossovers and all these industrial spurs at this end, all the way to here. This last turnout at this end has to go to the other end because I don't have any more space on that auto board. But that one will be paired up with 7 more from the middle reaches of the yard, and then I'll need 3 more in this end. I will continue tomorrow. As I say, I'm going to go in now, work on my inside jobs. So don't go away, I will check in with you again later. For today I have got pretty much all the switch machines installed in this end of the main yard, including all these hard to reach switch machines underneath here. And the way I got in there was just lay on my back on top of this sheet of plywood here. So that was one additional side benefit of building that box to protect the trestle. But yes, I know the wiring at the front looks a real mess right now. I haven't finished that. I've just got the switch machines in and working. This will all get sorted out when I put the fascia in and the final controls. But before I do that, I will be doing frog polarity switching. That'll be a target for tomorrow. I was hoping to get the switch machines finished today, but I'm having a problem with these 3. They are right over the helix, so I'm having to mount them offset. Here you see my method, running the piano wire down a piece of brass tubing. The problem I'm running into is the amount that it sticks up through the throw bar. That is as low as it can be. As you can see, it almost disappears out the bottom of the tie bar and then comes up way too high. So I've got to find a way of making sure it doesn't do that. If I could get a pair of pliers in underneath the throw bar, I could bend the top over so that it doesn't drop. But I don't think I can get pliers in there, so I'll probably break the turnout if I try that. Anyway, I'm going to go inside and I'm going to think about that and come up with a solution for tomorrow. So don't go away, I will check in with you again later. Just before I went in last night, I reported that the switch machine linkages in this area were not working very well. I have redone them. These 2 are working perfectly. Don't know if you'll be able to see it, but let's run that. And you can see the activating wire stays more or less at the same height throughout its throw. It didn't take much thought last night. The solution was obvious as soon as I gave it a little bit of grey cell matter. Here is the switch machine with the S bend or the Z bend, which also forms the spring to take up the excess throw. The brass tube is a loose fit, and that is attached underneath the benchwork, and then the vertical rod that goes through the tie bar. I had to go up a thickness. I went up from 0.32 to 0.39 to give a little bit more stiffness. And then if we look in here, this one is just held in place with pairs of screws. This one had a pair of screws where I could reach it. The other end, where I couldn't possibly get a screwdriver in, I just drilled 2 holes from above and put in a wire zip tie. There you can see that, and it works perfectly. So I'm just going to do the 3rd one, and then I will be on to the next job. So don't go away. I will check in with you again later. Well, as soon as I got these 3 special switch machines all installed and working reliably, I started on the frog polarity switches. I started at this end, and I have just systematically worked my way down all the way through the main areas of the yard as far as this benchwork joint. That is a huge number of turnouts. Each piece of blue tape is holding a turnout control. I think there's about 30 of them in this area, so I think that was a pretty good day's work. I'm not even sure what time it is, but I've had enough. My arms are getting tired from reaching at arm's length upwards under the benchwork. You can probably hear the locomotive sound system still on. Yes, I have tested everything. I have run in both directions through every turnout in this area of the railroad. So anyway, I'm going to go in now and I will check in with you again tomorrow. Don't go away. Good morning. It is a very wet August 5th, Friday morning. Well, actually about lunchtime. And so far this morning I have wired up all the frogs around this end of the main yard and tested everything and made sure they're working. And I have also done this area, the mainline crossover on the front and the branch line cam behind it. All these frogs are now tested and working perfectly. So I'm going to go in now, get some lunch, and then this afternoon I will work on the branch line terminus that you see now. Don't go away. Well, I stayed out a little bit longer than I normally do this afternoon because I was so nearly finished. All the frogs are wired up. Here are the last few boards I installed. I ran out of blue wire. I had to substitute a piece of purple for the very last frog. Anyway, I'm going to go inside now. I think I'm going to sign off and end this video here, because Monday I will be starting on something completely different. Well, that's all for this week. You may have noticed that there is no slideshow because there really wasn't a lot to see, so I didn't take any still pictures. Also, you may remember that right at the start I said I didn't even bother to set up the time-lapse cameras, and as a result that leaves the Friday slot open for something a little bit different. So be sure to tune in on Friday morning and I'll see you there. Thanks for watching and bye for now.